Heyo, it's time for another Stationery Pal haul. I am so excited about this. If you've been following me for a while, you know this is not my first stationery haul from Stationery Pal. This is the second time I've done it, but the first time I was just so genuinely impressed by the amount of stuff they have on their site and the amount of stuff I actually wanted to test. Plus, it's actually all really good prices. So highly recommend Stationery Pal, and you guys really liked seeing me unbox a whole box of goodies last time, so let's do it again. Plus, I obviously really needed more stationery supplies. All right, so this box clearly has been beat up a little bit in the mail, but that's okay, because the box also has a dad joke on it. Like, is this company, is it run by me? Because it should be. Stationery and dad jokes put together, that's like literally my thing. William Shakespeare wrote some of his best work whilst deciding which pencil to use. To be or not to be? I love it so much. Okay, but that's not what this video is about. So yeah, let's just jump right into this. I'm just gonna open it up, show you what's inside, and then I'm gonna test out each thing. Just like last time, the most adorable bubble wrap, heart-shaped bubble wrap, and this paper filling with like the cutest little confetti in it, which I'll be careful with because otherwise the cats will spread this around the whole house. But there are so many goodies in this box. So I'm gonna just show you everything first and then I'll test them out one by one. So the first thing is, when I was looking on their website, they had like so many different types of highlighters and mild liners and what they call here text liners and text surfers. And I just wanted to compare. So I grabbed 3 different ones in what I could see was like sort of similar colors, and I wanted to see which one I like the best. So I'm gonna do that. Then I grabbed these Monomi brush pens. These are twin brush home and DIY marker. I'd seen people use Monomi online before, but I've never tried it. So excited to try those. Then I got these just super cute stickers for my bullet journal, like days of the week and other little embellishments. And they're just like really cute, not super flashy or anything. My favorite type for bullet journals. Next up, I have these Future color brush pens. I've never seen these before, but they looked fun. Lots of cool colors, so we'll test those out. Oh, and these, really excited about these because I always, whenever I see at a craft store that they have glue, like dot runner things, this is essentially just like tape, but it's also glue, and you don't have to like show the tape on the outside. I use this for wrapping gifts and stuff, plus lots of other crafting, great for scrapbooking. So really excited about these. Some more stickers. These are just like little blocks of color that you can use in your journal. So on the back here, it kind of like shows all the different things that are included. There's some circle ones, and I got the purple and blue set. And I love these. These are the most adorable and like super simple little emoji stickers. I can't wait to put these all over everything. Oh, I was really excited about this too, this Zig Clean Color Dot. I'll usually just really like Zig products, but this is like it's not a brush tip or a normal pen, it's like a dot tip. So excited to see what that's all about. Then these 2 lines pen. These feel like something I would have gotten in elementary school, but they have 2 different colors in each pen. Like it's a double line. So I want to see how that works for lettering. Then I grabbed this journal, which I just thought was really pretty, but also it's really inexpensive on their site. So I wanted to see what the quality of the paper was like and whether I would actually like this for bullet journaling, because I also really like the size. It's a little bit smaller than most bullet journals. Next, I grabbed some envelopes because I wanted to see what the quality of their envelopes were. They had a bunch of really nice, cool colors. So I grabbed a bluish one and a red one, and they're really like nice quality paper. So I'm gonna do some fun stuff on those. I got a package of washi tape, but these ones are super thin. I have lots of washi tape, but not thin ones. So those are fun. I got a watercolor set, but it's little like swatches of watercolor that you just dip your pen in, and it comes with a pen. and it's like a little travel set. I've never tried one like this. A little pretty little foam eraser from Sakura. Just like looks like the best shape for a pencil case. These I'm really excited about. These are just like fine liner pens, again from that same company, Monomi, but there's so many different colors in here. I really hope I like these because they're really pretty. And then last but not least, I got some of the new Pentel brush pen colors. I've tried Pentel brush pens before, but these are a new set of colors and I can't wait to see what they're like because I found some of the old Pentel colors like really too vibrant for me. These are like more toned down pastel versions, so can't wait to try them. All right, so some of these things I don't need to demonstrate much, just the stickers and the envelopes. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. But the first thing I wanted to start with was these highlighters. So like I said in the intro, I bought 3 different ones all in similar colors because I wanted to test them out. So I have this Faber-Castell text liner, text liner 38 pastel it says. Then I have Faber-Castell text liner 46 pastel. And then I have this Staedtler Text Surfer Classic. And they're all similar colors, like just for the purposes of kind of comparing oranges to oranges, I guess you could say. So what I want to do first is test out using the 2 pens I use most often in my journal. So this is the Uniball Signo DX 0.38. And I want to see if these highlighters are going to smudge. So I'm writing the word smudge 3 times with this pen, and then I'm going to write it 3 times with the Micron pen. And I'm going to use those as my test words to see if each highlighter smudges. Because that's really, that's really apart from color, all I really care about with highlighters like this. Generally speaking, I will normally put the highlighter down in my journal first and then write on top of it. But it's good to know if ones are more smudgy than others. So here's the first test, and yeah, it smudges. It's not horrible, but let's see on the Micron. Okay, it also smudges a little bit. Neither of these are awful, but like I said, I would usually just put the color down first. Now let's test the second one. And okay, that one's worse, for sure worse on the Uniball pen. And let's check it out on the Micron. And also bad. I also found that both of these Faber-Castell ones weren't super smooth on the page. They kind of were catchy a little bit. So with the Staedtler, let's see this one. Far less smudge with that one. I also just like this color the best. And no smudge at all with the Micron pen. So I would say this is definitely the winner. No smudge, and it just looks really nice and clear with that one. Next thing I want to test are these Future Color brush pens. I, again, had never heard of these, but it just looked like a bunch of fun colors, and so I thought I would test them out. They're pretty cheap on the website, so I won't be super surprised if these aren't my favorite, but we'll see. So I'll just start with this cute pink color. I would say this is like a medium-sized brush pen, and right off the bat, I can tell that the tip is not super great. It doesn't allow you to get a very thin upstroke. I mean, you could go much thinner than I'm going here, but in order to make it like a consistent and not shaky or choppy upstroke, I'm putting a little more pressure on it just because I know with this type of brush pen, I just have a feel for it. I've done lots of different brush pen tests and I can tell with this one that it'll be a little bit shaky if I try and go any lighter. And I'm pushing pretty much as hard as possible. And I can see that the tip of the pen is already starting to not bounce back to the middle, which tells me it's not necessarily a super high quality brush pen. But let's test out a blue and see. And yeah, it's the same. It's confirmed. These are okay. I mean, they're pretty decent for a cheap brush pen, but I wouldn't use this for a beginner. I wouldn't recommend this as your go-to brush pen because you can't really get a very good thin and thick contrast. I also thought that this color was going to be something totally different, but hey, whatever. It's just another pretty blue. So yeah, long story short, not my favorite, but definitely not the worst. Next thing I'm going to test are these Color Twin brushes by Monomi. Again, I'd never tried this, but I've seen other people use them. I think these are a lot more readily available in Asia. I've never seen them in stores here in Canada, but maybe I'm wrong. First thing I notice as soon as I pull them out of the pack is I actually really like the way they feel. They're like really nice and smooth, and I just like the size of them in my hand. As soon as I pull the cap off, I'm noticing, don't mind the calluses on my hand, but I'm noticing that the tip of the big end is really big and the small end is pretty small, or pretty big still for a small tip, so it'll be interesting. Okay, these are really, really juicy, and I do not like the tip. I'll be completely honest with you, not a fan. Right off the bat, you can see how shaky and like gross this lettering looks. And it's weird. It's almost like the bottom edge of the brush tip is stiff and the top end is too loose. So it just doesn't make sense. But let's see if the other side's better. No, the other side is almost worse. I'm not a fan. I'm not even going to finish writing this word. Yeah, it's like a really weird brush tip. Not my favorite at all. I do like how juicy they are though. I just want to try some more colors, but I don't think I would use these for calligraphy or lettering. Like the ink in them is really nice, so it's kind of a shame that the brush tip isn't great. Like maybe they're good for doodling or for drawing, but I probably wouldn't use them for much other than that. Although, like I said, with the ink being cool and like really juicy, they're fun to blend. So yeah, I would probably use these for drawing or for like rendering, which is a fancy word for coloring, because the blending and the ink is really nice. But yeah, not for anything precise like lettering, calligraphy. It's just a bit messy. Okay, these 2 lines pens, I'm super excited to try these out. I have no idea what to expect. I mean, I sort of know what to expect. It has 2 tips on it, but I really don't know if they're just gonna look messy or if they're gonna look cool. I assume that I'm gonna have to hold my hand on a certain angle in order to get it to work properly. So maybe I'll try some straight lines and some block letters first to see. But right off the bat, it's super cool how there's 2 colors coming out of this pen. This first one's hard to tell because it's like a green and a blue that are sort of similar, but it's pretty cool. I mean, practically speaking, I don't know how much I would use these, but I kind of want to try, I want to try the different colors, and I want to try it in calligraphy and see if it looks cool. Because with block letters, it definitely looks cool. It's almost like a built-in highlight, sort of, but I'm curious what it's going to look like with calligraphy. So let's try that next. Okay, this looks so cool. I love these. This is really, really fun. This is actually a really good way for people to understand where shadows go. I'm always getting asked that by people, like, how do I know which side to put the shading on? And like this pen has it built in. That's so cool. It kind of hurts the eyes if you squint at it. Like it's kind of hard to see. Maybe that's just those 2 colors together. But overall, I really, really like these. These are really cool. I think it'll probably take a little bit of practice to get it perfect, but like to get the black lines lining up properly and then the red lines lining up properly. I think I'll have to play with the way I hold my hand to make this look perfected, but even without perfecting it, I think it just looks really fun. I could definitely see myself using this in my bullet journal, like for underlines or maybe just for days of the week or something like that. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with these. I think they're really going to be fun. I don't know how practical they'll be for like day-to-day use, but definitely something fun to just have in a drawer somewhere to play around with when I'm feeling inspired. Okay, these I have been so excited about, these Pentel Brush pens. Like I said, I have a bunch of the other colors, but I've always found that they're too bright. Like there's like a bright blue and a bright pink, And these colors look just a lot more toned down. So all I really want to do with these is test out the different colors and kind of swatch them. But as I'm doing that, I'll kind of talk about, like, these are great pens for beginners. These are really similar to the Tombow Furunosuke, if you've ever used those. They are a small tip pen, but they're a little bit more flexible than the Tombow. So if you're looking for like a step up from the Tombow and you want to try some different colors, but you want to stay in a small tip pen range, these are really great. Any of the Pentel. Just make sure that when you're looking them up and when you're trying to find them, that you make sure it's the brush tip version, because Pentel makes a fine liner pen that looks exactly the same in the body of the pen, but it's actually not flexible. So, I mean, I am a person who owns all of those sets now because I didn't realize that was a thing and I ordered the wrong ones at first, which I'm not complaining about because I love extra pens, but just definitely make sure that you get the brush tip version. You'll see them called the sign pen or a Fude, like Fude. That will give you an indication that it's a brush pen, or sometimes it even just says brush right on it. Depends where you're looking. Like Amazon can have tricky wording sometimes, but I mean, you can get them at Stationery Pal and you know it's the right ones. But yeah, as I'm using these, loving the colors so far. This turquoise one is actually like my brand color, which is amazing. I'll be able to use this one lots. But yeah, these are definitely like a lot more toned down versions of the other colors that I've tried in the past. Okay, this Zig Clean Color dot pen I've been so curious about. So this bigger end has like just a straight up dot on it, and the other end has a really small tip. So I assume this one's more just for writing, but who knows. And the dot one, I'm envisioning using it for like borders in my bullet journal. So let's see. Okay, yeah. It makes like the perfect size dots. Look how even those are. Those are amazing. And this comes in like a bunch of different colors. I just thought I would try it in black first because I use mostly black in my bullet journal, but it comes in all different colors. And then this little one, of course, you can do smaller dots, but I think it's more meant for just writing. It's like kind of a nice, just like a nice black fine liner tip pen. Overall, I think I'll have fun with that. That's a good one. Might have to buy some more colors of that. Okay, next up, these Monomi Plus Pen 3000. These are just fine liners. They're not brush pens, but I was really excited by how many colors are in this thing. Look at how awesome these are. It's like such a satisfying combination of colors. Everything I could ever want in colors is in here, and I just want to see how they write. Again, this is the same brand that I liked the feel of it in my pen. It's like I like something about the plastic that they use for their pens. I like the feeling of it. And yeah, it's just pretty standard fine liner. It's like, I think this is just a really light color that I chose, but obviously there's a bunch of other ones. I like the way it writes. It's not choppy. You know, sometimes you pick out a pen and it just like doesn't flow very nicely. These flow pretty well. Big fan so far. I think I'll just use these as like little embellishments, and sometimes when I put color in my bullet journal, I would use these. The last thing I want to do with them is that smudge test again. And let's go back to my highlighter, the one that I liked the most, the Staedtler one, and see if it smudges these pens. I assume it will, but yeah. So it didn't smudge the Micron pens. Microns are archival ink, but these Monomi ones are just like a cheap fine liner. I assume water-based ink or something. So they smudge, but whatever. Right on the front it says non-permanent fine liner. So yeah, they smudge, but there's 36 colors. I really like them. Lots of pretty colors, so can't complain about that. Okay, up to this journal now. Like I said, I just liked the design of it. Like, look how cute this is with the astrology things all on the neck of the book. But I was curious about the paper type because generally with cheap journals, it's not great for brush pens. And I can pretty much tell right away as I touch this that it might not be great for my brush pens. It's pretty thin and it's got a bit of tooth, which means like it's a little bit gritty. So I assume that my pens will bleed through. And I also noticed that this is just a plain journal. There's no guidelines on it, which makes it tricky for brush pens, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna write on here, and generally right away I can tell if it's gonna be good or bad for brush pens, and right away I can tell it's not gonna be great. You can see, and I'll hold it up in a second, but you can kind of see that it kind of gets sucked into the paper a little bit, because like I said, it's a toothy paper and it's not like the finest lines. It's kind of choppy. You just saw me use this pen on good paper a minute ago and it was much smoother. So I would say that this isn't going to be great for brush pens, but let's try it with just like a micron pen that maybe I could just use this as like a normal doodling or writing journal. I just want to see if it bleeds through, because this is pretty thin paper. So let's see. But before I do that, yeah, here, check this out. I'll just focus. You can see that the pen is not very smooth. It's like kind of choppy around the edges, and it shouldn't do that. And that's because of the paper. It's not the pen. So now let's flip the page and moment of truth. Yeah. Like I said, pretty thin paper, bleeds right through. So it's not ideal for brush pens, and even with the micron pen, you can see through. So I wouldn't say it's my favorite journal. I think it's cute. It'll be fine for like taking quick notes, but I don't think I'll be using it for a bullet journal or anything. What I will try though in here, just while I have this paper out, is this glue tape runner. I never know if I should call it a glue runner or a tape runner. I think it's tape runner. But this is like a really fun, oh, how do I take, there we go. You got to twist it sort of. Yeah, I'm just going to glue 2 pages together and see what happens. I mean, I know what happens. It's just going to glue 2 pages together, but I'll show you. So it's just a runner. I use this for scrapbooking a lot, or for like sealing envelopes, or, you know, anything like that. I actually wrap gifts with it, so you can't see tape on my gifts. It's like a next level gift wrapping thing. But let's just tape these 2 pages together for absolutely no reason. Yeah, there we go. I mean, at least now it's thicker paper, sort of, but you can still see through it, even with 2 sheets. So that tells you the quality of that journal. But yeah, I mean, these things are great. I would definitely grab them if you do lots of paper crafts. I think they're a lot better than just normal tape or normal glue. And like I said, I use these for sealing envelopes. So I would just run that along the edge instead of having to lick it. And it's a little more sturdy. If you're going to put it in the mail, it's less likely to come open. So yeah, I love these. Okay, this foam eraser, I'm just excited because it's tiny and I think it's going to fit really nicely in my pencil case. But I also noticed on it this like genius design where it's perforated. So as you use the eraser and it gets lower and lower, you can just rip it off. Like rip off the little sections, and then you don't have this crappy like falling apart piece of paper around your eraser. It's just pretty and cute. That's all I want to say about that. And lastly, these watercolors. I've never owned a set of travel watercolors like this before. I usually don't travel with watercolor because it's kind of a pain to use when you're on the road. So I'm excited to try this out. I got some watercolor paper here and I'm just going to open it up. When I was off camera, I already filled up the paintbrush pen. It's like got a barrel in it for water. I already filled it up, so I can just jump right in and try this out. This little sponge thing on the top, I wasn't sure what it's for, but I think it might be just for cleaning off the brush at the end. And I love how this folds out. It's like it's just so handy. As soon as I start touching this brush though, I'm feeling like I'm not going to be a fan of this actual brush for any like detail painting or for doing any brush lettering. It's just like really big and doesn't really stay together very well, which is really standard with cheaper art supplies. If you're kind of like a more experienced watercolor painter, you'd have a more expensive brush, but I mean, it's fine for just doing little doodles. So I mean, let's see how this goes. I'm just squeezing the brush pen to get some water out, and then, I mean, it's pretty pigmented color. I don't hate it. It's pretty sweet. So far, so good with that. I would say definitely adequate for like a travel kit of paints. I'll try the green. I also love how all the colors are swatched on each of the little pull-out things so that you can see. This green definitely looks more yellow. Okay, so I was just saying that I like the swatches on the pull-out things, but it seems like it doesn't really match what's coming out on the paper. So I would say just if you're gonna get this kind of kit, maybe don't trust the swatch colors. But let's test out one little doodle with this paintbrush and see how it goes. Ooh, I like this color. It's pretty blue. And you know what? I don't hate the brush as much as I thought I would for leaves. It stays together definitely better when it's wet and when it's got paint on it, so that's good. And then the last thing I'll test with this paint is just dipping in another color and seeing how they bleed together. That's kind of a crucial watercolor element. So I'll just add some yellow to my still wet blue and it bleeds nicely. I mean, maybe I wouldn't mix those colors together, but it bleeds, so that's good. Sometimes when you get really cheap watercolor paints, they're like really chalky and they don't bleed very well. So, I mean, overall, totally fine. I would probably use this for a travel kit if I wanted to bring watercolors traveling with me, for sure. And then yeah, I think this sponge thing is just to wipe off the brush and get most of the paint off, and then I can just pack it right back up. Even though it's wet, the way it's like held together, it's not going to leak everywhere. So I love that. Smart design. Big fan of smart design. So that's that for the watercolors. So as I pack this box up, I'm curious. I want you to tell me in the comments which of these supplies you would want to try most, if any. Maybe none. If it's none, you could just say none. But there's definitely some things in here that I am really excited that I now have in my toolkit. And yeah, I'm just curious what you would want. I will say again, as we're wrapping up here, that Stationery Pal has so much stuff on their website and it is really reasonably priced. I think that if you go, you're going to end up doing a little bit of a shopping spree. And I'm pretty sure that everything in this box altogether came to like $80 or something, which is this is a lot of stuff. That's a lot of pens. So that's pretty much it for now. Make sure you hit like on the video if you enjoyed watching this so that I know to do more stationery hauls in the future. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because I put out 2 new videos every single week.